bit of food just for them to chill, and then we can take them up here. And there's probably, I'd say, 2 walks up that way.
Okay.
And then without the horses, we can do the walled garden as well.
Amazing.
So that's 3. And then, you know, the driveway up there is not dissimilar to the one down there.
Okay.
But that one down there does have the water.
Yeah, it has a river. That's
So we can do that, that's fine.
Let's do that one. Let's end on that one.
Yeah, sure.
And
Yeah, good idea.
that's pretty much it.
Okay, cool.
So I'll follow you.
Okay,
you
great.
guide me through. So you feed your horses every day?
No,
Right.
no, not every day. That would
Yeah.
be a real pain.
Yeah. No, because Angela downstairs, she was like, oh, she feeds hers every day. So I thought,
Well, you met Angela?
yeah, I met Angela.
No
just
way,
now.
you met the whole community.
Yeah.
How was Angela?
She was good. She was telling me about her 26-year-old horse.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
that's great.
I know,
She's had
she's...
it for like years and years.
Yeah, so if you've got a horse that old, you want to be keeping it.
Yeah.
It's like an old person, it needs a lot more attention and
Yeah.
care. But with ours, we feed them hay every day in the winter because the grass, obviously the grass isn't growing, and it's so you got to feed them hay every day in the winter, and if you can, extra feed as well, like hard feed.
That's what she's doing right now. I think.
Yeah.
She was like, the warm blood needs something.
Yeah, because
she's
it's
keeping a horse outside. That's why. She was saying it's like her first winter. That's Nellie's first winter outside.
yeah, because
She's
you
usually stable in the stables.
yeah. And our horses though, they always stay out.
Okay.
Actually, this year, well, there was 2 nights of crazy storms. We brought them in just because we felt sorry for them.
Yeah.
And it's quite cosy being in the stable.
Yeah.
But no, in winter, feed them hay every day. And then not in the summer. Well, from now on, basically, we stop feeding them because it's grass growing.
Yeah.
As soon as the sun
I
starts,
see.
everything starts warming
I
up.
see. So it's only
So-
like 6 months where you actually
Yeah,
have
I'd
to
say
double feed.
we kind of do it. It's kind of different every year, but usually it's sort of November, December, January, February, March.
Yeah.
So 5 months, you know, and I try and limit it to 4 months if you can, just because it's just good to keep the horses.
Yeah.
It's good for the horses to build up just that kind of slightly resistance. You know, it's really easy to pamper horses, and then they suddenly
Right, just
become
giving
quite.
spoiled horses.
Yeah, and but
Did
it's
they
like
really?
they what?
Did they really get spoiled?
Well, and most horses in the UK get spoiled. Yeah, they're always in stables and like.
Yeah.
But that's not where a horse belongs. A horse belongs like
in the
outside.
wild. Yeah,
So and they're capable of you know, finding good grass themselves. However, it gets to a point where the grass just stops growing, so you've got to give them hay.
Do you think horses are easy?
Do I think horses are easy?
Yeah.
That depends on the breed,
Okay.
and it depends on what you are using the horses for.
I see.
So,
So for like working horses is completely different breed.
well, if you've got, I mean, the simple way to look at it is warm blood and cold blood.
Yeah.
So warm blood horses are kind of thoroughbreds, stuff for racing, and cold-blooded are, you know, much more. I mean, all the horses native to the UK are cold-blooded.
Okay.
Based like cobs and
Yeah.
things that you don't look like this, basically really
Okay.
long, and then so cold-blooded are a lot easier to to look after, basically, because they're much more. They get the nutrients from the ground because this is where they're from, you know. Whereas warm bloods need extra stuff to. And they've got a much more tender immune system, and they get injured a lot more easily.
So they need extra care.
Yeah, they're like they're like models. You know, if they were humans, they'd be models.
Yeah, I see. It's
And
just
then-
high maintenance.
Very high maintenance. Yeah,
Warm blood.
absolute nightmare.
Wow.
But
In that way.
it depends. I need to get my head collar. We try and. I mean, with our horses, we try and, I guess, strike that balance, keeping them wild enough so that they've got resistance and a good immune system, and but also keeping them in good shape, because obviously, if they're not being, you know, well cared for every single day, they get a bit woolly, and their muscles aren't very,
Right.
they're not really in shape. So it's just like a balance, really.
I'll close it, don't worry.
Thanks.
I'll let Nathan come through. So did you grow up with horses?
Not really, no.
How did you get into it? Like, what was the intention of what made you want to get into horses and took your interest?
Yeah, it was when I was. Well, I mean, we had two ponies here when I was growing up.
Yeah.
But I didn't really ride them very much, and
Yeah.
I kind of associated horses or ponies with, I don't know, that age with sort of girls things. I kind of
Right.
avoided it
Yeah.
kind of at all costs. And then it was when I was 18, I went to left school, earned some money, and then went to northern Mongolia to
Wow.
find this tribe that lived with reindeer called the Zatan tribe,
Mm-hmm.
who live just south of Siberia, and they're famous for their work with reindeers.
Mm-hmm.
And to get to them, me and two friends, we had to buy four. Well, we didn't have to buy. We had to use 4 ponies
Yeah.
to get to them, Mongolian ponies, and we decided to buy them just because they're really cheap, and we kind of wanted to use them for a long time.
Yeah.
So anyway, we got to them, and the ponies were stolen after 5 days, and
Yeah.
we got them back, and it was a complete disaster the whole trip. But it was a lot of fun, and we ended up living with the reindeer tribe, but understanding, kind of being educated about ponies in a different way,
Mm-hmm.
because it was the complete opposite of the UK. The horses were a part of the tribe's life, you know, and they weren't something separate that were used for their own recreation and
Right.
entertainment. You know, they were
Right.
literally integral to everything they did. So it completely, re-educated what horses can do.
Are,
Yeah,
right.
and so from that moment on, I thought saw them as things that you can learn from, and almost as companions as well.
100%. That's what I wanted to ask you about, actually, like just the meaning of horses. And I'm sure in Mongolia, they were more like a spiritual being rather than just an animal. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like they treat those animals as spirits, and they also have a way of life just like humans do.
Yeah, I mean they didn't kind of. I think it's easy to romanticize
Yeah.
their way with horses. They also, you know, they kind of treated them also a bit like cattle in a way, because everyone else had them. But it's more the fact that they just didn't treat them as a kind of a toy, do you know?
A tool or something.
Yeah, exactly. There was some equality, or at least a kind of an equality within the sphere of nature about their relationship with horses that just made a lot of sense to me. Which was it's so different here.
And that kind of changed your whole view on horses and
Yeah.
That took your path though. Do you think horses kind of led you to a different place? Do you think horses led you to this journey itself? Or you kind of wanted to go on this journey?
It wasn't really horses that made me go to Mongolia, I guess.
Not Mongolia, but this one here.
Oh, I see. Yeah, for sure. It was.
I think horses was the thing that led you. You just wanted to bond with a horse and go on a journey, or what was the intention behind? Because the way I see it is like you are a man just searching for meaning. You know, I don't know what your intentions were before you went on this Spanish to Italy trip.
Yeah.
What was like that thought of, hey, I want to just take a horse and do this? You know, was it like a destination thing, or was it like for inner peace or something within? Like what was the drive behind the whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was kind of a combination of all the things you've said.
Yeah.
A lot of it was that time spent with a horse.
How do we lead this one? Do you know?
No, she'll come. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Amazing.
The root cause of it was, I suppose, definitely wanting some answers and some sense. I wanted some sense of fulfillment and achievement. You know, I was kind of 23 or 4 in London and working as an actor, kind of always at the mercy of the next audition and the next director.
Yeah.
However, at the same time, I was also working in Hyde Park with horses at the stables there, and that was an amazing job, a kind of proper kind of release.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just got thinking about a big journey, kind of alone with a horse, where I could meet strangers and have a I don't know, have a good time, but also do something that's, you know, maybe something that I could feel proud of as well.
Yeah.
And then I started concocting, the idea to do it from Italy to Land's End, to Finisterre, in west coast of Spain.
Do you have to do some hoof work?
Yeah, I mean,
Do you know how to?
unfortunately I don't. It's annoying. In the UK, it's actually illegal to do your own horse's hooves.
Yeah.
But I'll show you that. So yeah, these are the shoes, and you have to. It's like minimum 5 years training to put one of these things on.
Wow.
In the UK, that is. Everywhere else in Europe, it's But actually, wait there. I'll show you what they look like. But
You have to clean them, though.
yeah, I mean, it's good to just keep them. And then that's kind of what they look like without the crap, without the mud.
Oh,
This
wow. So you have to make one and put it on?
Yeah,
Is that
well,
what they do?
they have them. They have one like this,
Yeah.
which is made somewhere.
Yeah.
And then they basically put it like that against the hoof to kind of measure it up, and then they put it in like searing heat.
Okay.
And then nail it on.
Wow.
Searing heat, and then to shape it.
Yeah.
And then cold water, really cold water.
Yeah.
And then they nail it on.
But is it different shoes with different uses or something? Like racing, they need...
Well, there's I mean, these ones, for example, they've got these things that allow it to not slip, allow the horses so they don't slip.
Oh.
Because we obviously do a lot of
Like
walking
muddy stuff.
Well, no, it's more like on like concrete and stuff that they can slip.
Oh, I see.
Whereas race horses
yeah.
will have really
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
whatever shoes that are really good for the track, you know.
Yeah.
But I would love one day to learn how to do it myself, because I had done it before, but if you get
Is
it
it
wrong,
difficult?
it's not. No, it's not. But the thing is, if you get it wrong, then the horse will never probably recover,
Oh.
because you hit it, goes straight into its nerve, and it
I see.
can be really.
Yeah.
It's really dangerous to get it wrong. So
Yeah.
that's the risk. So you just don't want to mess it up. So that's why I'm definitely quite nervous to do it with these guys. But and they've got the Arabs. These are Arab horses, and they're warm bloods, and they're very. I mean, they're very fine in terms of their if you mess something up, they can be very difficult for it to recover. Fortunately, ours have kind of grown quite a weird resilience just because of that Europe journey. They've become really hardy, which is really unusual for Arabs to be this kind of
Strong.
Yeah, basically. But I guess you would be if you've done 111 days across the Alps and the Pyrenees and whatever. So yeah, as you can see, they're losing their hair at the moment because we're going into summer, so they're
shedding
their winter coat, which is pretty annoying. Freaking trying to bust.
So you said with your book you journaled, is compiled of journals, is that correct?
It was based on,
So you journaled every day, but was that like a ritual that you did anyways, or just on this trip you decided to journal every day?
It was, I did it, last time I'd done it in such detail was on the journey down the UK.
Yeah.
And so I just thought, okay, well, I'm going to do that again. For the same reason that I just didn't know what was going to happen afterwards. Maybe they'd come in useful. Maybe they'd come in handy.
Yeah.
And so, I journaled every day, a lot of it just to clear my head. And also, though, I've got a really bad memory, so...
Me too.
So, it was just to not forget shit, because there was no way. And also, so much happens every single day.
Of course.
And these places I've never been to and, might not ever go to again. And these weird interactions you have with humans and horses and whatever. So I didn't really want to forget any of it. I didn't know when it might become useful, but luckily I did do it because, when the journey was over, that's when a publisher heard about it.
Yeah.
And she contacted me on Instagram of all places.
Mhm.
Not that I have at all a very big presence on social
Mhm.
media, but she found me there and then said, I heard about this journey that you did. Have you ever considered writing a book about it?
Mm.
And I said I can give it a go because I've got the diaries. And so she said,
Mhm.
okay, well, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just started like that. And it
Amazing.
started, it was like five books of diaries. So
Yeah.
it was like over 800 pages of diaries. And I
Wow.
put it all on the computer and
Amazing.
just 120,000 words of rubbish. And then so we sort of whittled it down to
Yeah,
make into a
yeah.
book, you know.
Yeah. No, it's really beautifully written. Like it was very Emersonian for me. I don't know if you read Emerson,
Emerson, yeah, absolutely.
but I don't know why it reminded me of that, and it reminded me a lot of Terrence Malick movies. The way you made nature seem like just beautified. You know, it's like
Right.
nature on steroids. Everything just in moments. It's like
Yeah. Well, what's weird about
like what was your prime inspiration to write a book like this? Was it the guy that you mentioned earlier, like the formatting and the way it was structured? It was very unique to me. But I don't usually read adventure books or anything. But the way you structured it was very like moments.
Yeah, I wanted to do it keep it in the present tense.
Yeah.
With a first person narrator, just because I wanted that kind of immediacy about it.
Yeah.
And to feel like you were there.
Yeah.
And also having Kiki's diaries dotted
Yeah.
gives it, because it's very hard to so if you're making a book but in first person narrator, so I did this, I met this, blah blah blah, it's very hard for the reader to get an idea of what that narrator looks like, or his or her characteristics, or what they are, their shape as a being. However, if you've got someone else's diaries that then describe the narrator, it's a good way to get a shape of both. Yeah.
Right.
So that was really fun to put in, and it was really important because having her voice was really important in the journey, obviously, as well. She was after we met, she became obviously the most important person in the whole journey. And I think it was a lot of it is to do with seeing the world through the eyes of a horse. Like that was kind of how we saw the world.
Okay.
For those 111 days, because our daily routines and whatever were dominated by what the horse needed. So that we were seeing it through in their mind, you know. And that's kind of how I suppose the language of the book comes out, maybe, because it's kind of seeing it with their eyesight, you know.
That's amazing.
That kind of, I suppose that is probably why I ended up writing it like that, I think.
But did any other authors like inspire you to do something like this, or did it just feel correct to have that approach?
Well, the format was it was, you know, it's in 4 parts.
Yep.
First part is Italy, second part is France, next part is Spain, and the last part is kind of the state of being in green, like that kind of conclusion. So that came quite naturally, I think.
Okay.
And other than that, I've read a lot of books trying to sort of see what good writers do and stuff, and it kind of there was no one particular writer that it ended up kind of mimicking. It was more a combination of all of them, I suppose.
Right.
And then trusting your
That's
gut.
how it usually is, no?
Yeah,
it's in the back of your mind. There's like 5 different authors just shaping how you are.
Exactly. Jamie, can I go to the loo really quickly?
Of course.
One sec, guys.
Of course.
You've been around horses before, Jamie?
No, it's my first time. Yeah, I'm so happy. You have no idea.
That's wicked.
Yeah.
So if you pull her back a bit, she'll stop going. Like just keep
Pull her back.
like this. Just keep her back, and she won't go so fast.
Oh, I see. How did you learn all of this? Just working at the stables?
Yeah, working at the stables in Hyde Park. And picking it up on the way. So you give her a big tug, otherwise she'll do that the whole time. Hold her if you want, David, and you can go next to her, because the speed controls takes a bit of a knack.
So when's Kiki coming back?
We kind of go between Amsterdam and here.
Okay.
So just...
How come?
Well, that's where she lives. That's where she's from.
Yeah.
And I don't live here. This is just my parents' house. So I only come here get the horses fit for a journey.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think I'm going to go over there next week for a bit. Yeah, and then she'll come back here, and we'll just sort of keep going back and forth.
Mm-hmm. When's the next journey?
The next one's actually in May. Yeah.
Okay.
In Fife, so in this
Oh, in this
county here. Yeah. Well, Kingdom of Fife. But yeah, that's in May. 2 weeks.
Wow, that's pretty frequent.
Yeah, it's quite. Yeah,
it's pretty frequent, no?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. We've just finished one.
But are you trying to like do this all year round? Is that the goal?
Not really. It's not. I mean, if I was doing this like full time, yeah, I would. But it doesn't earn me a living, so
yeah.
So I've got to watch out for that. And and you've also, because we want to make an impact with every journey, a charitable impact. It's quite difficult to kind of create like a buzz and like an excitement around the fundraising journey. Like if you do it every month, everyone's gonna get bored of that, You kind of want to keep it fresh and keep it exciting and keep the roots new and keep that sort of level of like, oh, what's next kind of thing.
I see.
So that's why there's only kind of 2 a year, maybe 3 this year. I don't know, but I kind of like it as 2 because it stays new. I think the worst thing would be if these journeys became routine.
Right. Which becomes commercial.
Yeah, something awful like that, end up being like a horse safari or something.
Yeah.
So they're each one is so different, which is what I love, in the places that we do it, and in the group, and in the charity we're raising money for, and in the time of the journey itself.
Yeah.
So it's keeping that variation, I think, is quite important.
Yeah. What about writing wise? Do you have something that's coming next, or do you write every day?
I do write every day, yeah. And then at the moment trying to do I'm about to do some articles about the journey we just did.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to start my proposal for my next book.
Okay.
That's the kind of plan. So I'm going to start working on that tomorrow, actually.
Amazing. Do you think you're going to expand on this similar genre?
Yeah. I think I feel like I've still got some things to explore.
Okay.
Trying to make real that kind of state of being in green. I bet like on a longer, bigger way.
Okay.
And so do it and use just basically go back to complete basics for the next journey. Even more so than before, and kind of really rely on just maps and people and rivers and nature's clues.
What's your relation with adventure books and stuff? Like, how comes you've chosen this genre to go into? Like, you could easily make this. So I read this book of this woman who wrote about her life, but in a fictional way. Right. So she places herself in like a character, but it's her life.
Yeah.
So it's like a biography through a character.
Yeah.
But your one's kind of like more biographical.
Yeah, it's
almost.
I definitely don't want it to become like a story
like
life.
It's not really
no.
your thing. Yeah.
I want it to be more about the places I go to.
Okay.
And the people I meet. That's kind of the aim.
Okay.
And the things that occur on those journeys. So I kind of, I mean, obviously in green is a lot of it is obviously about my narrative as well, just because I have to explain why it happened, and then obviously it's a love story because of Kiki joining, etc. So it does get quite personal. However, I want to kind of steer away from that because I don't think it's that interesting for people to constantly hear about someone else's life. Like, people get bored of that stuff.
Yeah.
But I think what is interesting is what horses do and the places they bring you and the.
Okay, so you want to focus more on your relationship with the horse, like the connection between the horse.
I think it's more just like using the horse as a kind of a way into other cultures and other places, and then giving trying to find little insights into these other places and how other people live and how they connect with the nature around them and then their own place in a shifting society. I think it's kind of a combination of all those things, with the horse being at the centre of it, because horse is obviously integral to every human's history, and so it's something that I think people connect with quite quickly. So the horse is a good way in, I think.
I see. Do you have any tips for writing, and did you ever have any writer's block or anything? Do you have rituals that you do to be like, hey, I need to finish a story and it just needs to be done? Like, what are some tips that you can give to, I don't know, some writers who may need some?
Yeah, I think reading as much as possible.
Okay.
And creating a he's going to the loo. Creating a creating a routine.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I read maybe 80 pages or something a day.
Okay. Yeah.
But first thing in the morning. So I think I'm doing a course at Oxford at the moment in creative writing, and one of the things they teach you is about doing something first thing.
Right.
So not looking at your phone. That is a big tip I would give to anyone, is don't look at your phone first thing, but read. And if you can be bothered, massive kind of thing, if that would be really good to make a routine, is to write freehand for 3 minutes or 5 minutes even every single day. Just whatever's in your mind. It might be what you're going to do today, it might be what you dreamt about, it might be a little problem that you want to figure out and work out in your mind, and just write. Don't think about it, just write, just see what happens, and then start your day. And that just opens up this wonderful kind of,
like a waterfall effect. Is just like you start flowing into.
And then the rest of the day is kind of that's how you start, and that's how you kind of you go forward for the rest of that day. That's massive help, and making that a routine. Really important.
So
routine is huge. Routine for writing. Routine is massive, because the thing that, if you look at sort of interviews with famous writers and they say, well, what's the secret? All they just say is basically just write. That's it.
Of course,
you gotta just write. Just write every day, and then things happen. And
do you have any favorite authors?
I do. They kind of change depending on what I'm kind of doing. But yeah, definitely. Definitely Dostoevsky's up there.
Dostoevsky?
Yeah.
Wow. Any favourites?
Obviously, Crime and Punishment is that kind of, when I read that, in your books you read at a certain point in your life, and they're just the right books. Yeah. That was one when I was just kind of really inspired by that book. That kind of, that closeness, the intimacy he creates, and that moody flat of his. And
have you read Brothers Karamazov?
No, it's on it's in the bedside table at the moment, actually. And just a huge amount of travel writers I read as inspiration for this book, from everything from Robert Louis Stevenson to Sophie Roberts to Patrick Leigh Fermor to Laurie Lee. I think Sylvain Tesson, he's a massive influence. He's a really cool French writer still living who does adventures, but just not kind of. But they're very honest, and he doesn't kind of make them. There's a lot of pretentious stuff in travel writing, which is just, you really want to avoid it.
I see.
So easy to do, and
the rawer the better, no?
Yeah, and it's like really self-deprecating.
Just like journals.
Honest.
I would read your journals, like.
Yeah, but also but not like, not written or told in a way that makes somehow that person superior to the reader. It's just really honest writing, which Sylvain Tesson is incredible at doing. So he was a massive influence.
Okay.
Very different to kind of 19th century stuff, I guess.
Okay.
He's really, I really like his style. But yeah, and then outside of travel writing, of course, all the Garcia Marquez and Hemingway and whatever.
Right.
All the classics.
Hemingway.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I did read a lot actually before the journey and doing this journey.
What did you bring on the journey? Did you, like, what essentials did you have in terms of entertainment? You didn't have any of that. Did you have a book? Did you have?
Yeah, I had.
You just had a pen and paper.
I had a book by. What's he called? He's a French poet. I can't remember his name. Anyway, it's called Earthlight, the book. Anyway, so it's a massive book of poetry that he wrote in Paris. But other than that, it was really difficult to find time to read. Yeah. Just because you're thinking of everything else, and it's always you always think, I'm going to read so much in this journey, but it never happens. Yeah. So a lot of writing, obviously, the diaries. Other than that, it was just things, necessities for the horses. Really, there wasn't really much in terms of entertainment.
Wow.
Having that beer at the end of the day was kind of good enough, and then
Yeah, I couldn't imagine it. I honestly couldn't imagine that journey myself because I'm like, well, I'm gonna need some music or something. You didn't have
Right.
any of that.
No,
you
no,
know?
no, unfiltered.
You're just raw with like nature.
Yeah, well, that is
That is it.
certainly
That is your music.
Yeah, exactly. You're trying to be as unfiltered,
Yeah.
unfiltered and pure to where you are as possible.
Strip out everything.
Yeah,
That we have.
absolutely. I think there's a lot of, for some reason we're obsessed with trying to numb our senses. So we using if we've got
Earphones, AirPods and all that.
AirPods and a constant need to be connected and to control everything. The whole point of real travel is to go into the uncontrollable.
Yes.
And to
absolutely.
have everything as pure and chaotic as possible because it's kind of our natural state. But you have to really you have to make an effort to get there these days.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is why the Big Hoof Journeys, I find, why people keep on coming back to them. I think is because they love that.
Yeah, got that
kind
feeling.
of free state.
Feeling.
Yeah.
I guess they feel more human that way, no?
Yeah, exactly.
They feel more human.
More, yeah, and it's just quite liberating, I think. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so her question, I guess, about how you wrote just endlessly on your own.
Yeah, it's well, after any like even the journey that we've just had now, the 3 days around Loch Tay, that when it ends, especially the one across Europe, it's just imagine all that adrenaline every day just coming to nothing. It was a massive downer, really, and it's like a huge come down from being wired for 111 days. You know, it was very difficult to come to terms with what the hell was it all about. Why did I do it? Who the hell cares? Why was it just a huge waste of time? That was kind of what I thought about for like a long time. Yeah. Until the publisher then said, until the publisher said, do you want to write about it? And then it was only at that point then when I brought out the diaries again, wrote them all up, which took time. That was actually a really therapeutic process to kind of, I suppose, go through it all again, but with a little bit of distance. And then, it was finding it from that moment on, just kind of carving out what it was all about. Why, and that every single time I rewrote the edit or rewrote the book, it was something new was found. I think also, for me, a massive thing about this particular book, this journey, was as soon as you share it with other people, which I love sharing, well, at least I find it really important to share writing with other people. A lot of them would tell me what it's about, and that was really.
To see their perspectives.
Yeah, well, it kind of, because I didn't, a lot of it I didn't really know, and I just knew that something was in there. I didn't quite know what it was because it's so close to the bone. Yeah. So other people have that detachment, and it was very solitary. But you know, I do quite like the routine of making sure you're writing your whatever it is, your 1,500 words a day, 2,000 words a day, and then getting up in the morning and doing that. And it was not, it wasn't always enjoyable, and it was difficult, but it's, you know that you're building something, you're shaping something. So
I mean, I think that anxiety when you write and you don't have anything to write, I think I saw a video that said the best artists are the ones who can hold on, like firm through that anxiety. Because I always get anxiety when I'm like, okay, I don't know what to write, but there's something there that I need to write. Yeah. So I guess every writer has this this pain that you have to go through to get to that point of something being written. Yeah, I mean, some of those diaries entries are just so boring, and I'm just sort of there thinking, what is the hell is this? What is in this? And then it's like you say, it's just such a long process. But like it is with anything, like building this wall or 100%. Building this avenue of lime trees. It's just 100%. It takes so much time. Yeah. But if you a bit of consistency, then it persistence. Yeah. And then suddenly you start shaping something. It grows to something. Yeah, for sure. So now you're saying, are you building like the next book, or like these journal entries that you're still doing now? Are you doing journal entries now? I am, but not for kind of the book. It's just to keep writing. Just yourself, like just I say, memory stuff. Well, and also just practicing writing every day, writing every day, writing every day. Absolutely. Even if they're journals that are completely boring. Yeah. It's just like still that process. Yeah. But no,
going to start the proposal for the next journey,
Yeah.
the next book tomorrow,
Amazing.
and
Amazing.
and yeah, go from there.
Do you have like a book deal now where you have to do certain amount of books, or was it like a single book?
No, this one was that one was a single one.
Uh-huh.
However, I now have an agent, and she's probably going to have her own ideas
Okay.
as to what comes
Okay.
next. And just hope that someone gives me an advance to write it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
go from there, really.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. You must feel like, I don't know, to have that title as a writer now. Do you feel that yet? Or is there still like a distance between, hey, I'm a writer, and hey, I'm Louis who writes? You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
definitely a distance. Yeah, I don't. Oh, yeah, because someone said that you're only a writer when you've got a pen in your hands. You know, which is, which is. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I definitely don't think
Yeah.
I'm a writer. In that, I don't know what it means to be a writer, because it's
Mm.
you also just have to earn a living.
Yeah.
So, at the moment, I'm a writer because I'm earning a living from writing.
Mhm.
But next month could be different.
Yeah.
I might have to, I don't know, get a job working at Tesco or something. You never know. You never
Yeah.
know. So it's kind of, I think it's a nice thing to strive to be.
Yeah.
That's what I will probably say.
Yeah.
I like to strive to be a writer, but it's, I mean, are you writing when you don't write? Are you a writer when you don't write? Probably,
Yeah.
probably not.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's something to aim for.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a strange feeling though as an artist, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, because obviously I don't make films every day,
No.
but when they ask me what I do, I'm like, well, I make films. I
Yeah.
made a film today. No.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like all these titles, and I don't even call myself like a filmmaker. It's just like I'm just an artist,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I think in an artist way.
Yeah. I
you
think
know
that's.
what I mean?
I mean, that's probably what's.
It's artful thinking all day, every day. But do I do that thing every day? No.
No. Exactly.
It's way of life, I guess. You know.
Yeah. It's how you structure your whole life, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any books that have that helped you with writing?
Yeah. Yes, I have.
Mm.
Yeah, where do we begin? There's a book.
But you studied literature, no?
At university I studied philosophy and theology.
Philosophy. Ah.
Yeah, and then I'm doing a master's now.
That's a whole other conversation.
It is,
brother.
yeah.
Oh yes, I remember on your speech you said theology.
Yeah, theology was a big part
Yes.
of my
Are
studies.
you religious yourself?
I do believe in God, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think life's more interesting.
Because I remember
for me.
talking to you the first
Easy.
time I heard about this journey. I was like, it's sort of like a pilgrimage, you know?
Yeah, in ways. I mean, we
Yeah.
used lots of the pilgrimage routes,
Mhm.
which are dotted all
Yeah.
over Europe
Yeah.
and the UK. And they're
Amazing.
just great routes because they
Yeah.
go through obviously very beautiful places.
Yeah.
But also it had that kind of connection to history,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. A lot of material there to write about.
Mhm.
And yeah, there is definitely a spiritual element to
Mhm.
the journeys for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely.
But it wasn't like, hey, you didn't believe in God before and now you do.
No,
because
no,
of
there
this
wasn't
journey.
a- no,
You
there wasn't.
believed beforehand.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
There wasn't a kind of.
So is your family religious?
I would say I mean, in a kind of soft way, yeah.
In a soft
yeah.
way.
We all believe in God, I guess.
Okay.
And
But it's not like Christian or.
yeah, no.
any-
I mean, in fairness, my dad is a Catholic. My mum's
Oh, okay.
converted to Catholicism.
I see.
Yeah, I'd call myself a Catholic.
Mhm. Nice.
But by studying theology, I was fascinated
Yeah.
in all other religions.
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
honest.
yeah, absolutely.
So
Because they're all really just the same, no?
I think
Some of them they all have the same concepts.
definitely.
And obviously Christianity, Islamic, they all come from Abrahamic, teachings.
Yeah,
So-
and it's just believing in something beyond you,
Yeah.
which is quite a big part of, I think, big part of the journeys. Making a journey is, I don't know. There's something connected with thinking that acknowledging that you're not the human being is not the be all end all.
Yeah.
You know that you're below something beyond you.
Right. There's a
under your
higher
control.
being.
Yeah,
above,
I think that's a very
always
humbling.
humbling experience, no?
And makes
Always.
certainly, regardless of if it's factual or not, that doesn't really matter to me at all.
You
It's
can't
more,
measure it through facts, no?
yeah, but it's more the notion that there could very well be something that's beyond us, and that makes me feel kind of cared for in a way, and also quite liberated, knowing that it's not all up to us, you know, and that we don't really matter very much.
Yeah.
I quite like that.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, it's free. It's very freeing, and also, yeah, it's quite.
It's the fact that you can not care, but you're still cared for.
Yeah.
It's what's crazy. That's how I like see trees and I see nature, right? Because they don't have like thoughts about, hey, am I going to drink tea today?
No.
It doesn't matter if I drink tea or not. I'm still going to end up somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like the trees don't have any thought,
Yeah.
but they're always just in meditation and they're always like in their purpose of being the tree.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Absolutely.
like that thought just makes life so liberating, as you say.
Yeah, and calming, because
exactly.
I think we have such anxieties as to what's our purpose, what do I need to do today. I want to be a better person, I want to strive to be this person, whatever. Comparing yourself with other people, that all kind of just goes away when, well, it never goes away, it's in our human nature, but it certainly becomes laughable sometimes when you realise that we're all just going to go and be into the earth
100%.
once more, you know.
100%, that's where we belong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. What did you study in philosophy? Did you have to study Heidegger any chance?
No, we didn't actually.
You didn't?
No.
Who were the philosophers that you had to
A lot
study?
of Kierkegaard's,
Kierkegaard,
Aristotle, Descartes, and then a lot of it crossed over with theologians as well.
Okay.
So I did a lot of early some of the early Christians and some like Augustine and a lot of Augustine actually, and then also did a lot of Chinese. I got really interested in
Taoism?
No, in much later in Confucianism, which isn't a religion, but I got interested
way of thoughts,
way of thinking, and for some reason got fascinated by the Chinese Communist Party as well.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I just got interested in recent Chinese history.
Okay.
And the fact that China...
They go deep though.
Yeah, that's why I loved it, because even when Mao tried to stamp out religion, people then started believing in worshipping bones and relics, and it was really cool, because it was their escape was to believe in something else, and I found that really cool as a philosophical concept.
You mean they didn't want to believe in God, but they believed?
Well, if they did, but they'd obviously not tell anyone, because Mao disallowed all religions. But
they had to find something.
But even when they couldn't go to church or they weren't Christian, they or Muslim, because there are a lot of Muslims as well in that particular period, they would then find something else
to worship.
Yeah, and it got defined by the West as world religions, because they would find anything to believe in.
Right.
And that was, for me, that was just really cool, because
it is really cool, because it's just like people who don't believe in God, but there's something there though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I think when a human's in pain, when you have nothing, you find something to. It's like a coping mechanism almost.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, these bones is my God now.
Yeah.
These bones will heal me. These bones will do something. I think as humans, we just find something.
Yeah, it's a way to survive. Yeah, and it kind of becomes symbols of hope.
Exactly.
But there's a wonderful book called Man's Search for Meaning.
I was going to talk to you about that.
Yeah,
I wrote that down.
Yeah. By Viktor Frankl.
Viktor Frankl.
Yeah.
Exactly. The Nazis. Right?
Yeah, he's the Holocaust survivor. So, which is amazing. Yeah. Harrowing story, but one of finding small things to hope for, and how suffering is part of freedom as well. Yeah. But anyway, I wouldn't be able to probably have the same mentality as him. To be honest, it's extraordinary.
No, but your journey is like your journey with this 111 days is almost like you're looking for suffering, but it's knowing that it's part of life. You know what I'm saying? That's what's liberating about it. For me. I
think a lot of it.
You were like searching for that feeling because it makes you closer to God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like people fasting and it makes you closer to God.
It was certainly closer to something. I mean, there's a quote from Rilke, which is, he goes out to be defeated by more and more things. Yeah. His purpose is to be defeated by more and more things. And that was, I didn't know the quote before the journey, but it certainly was something that was kind of, I felt myself doing, was just to go through. I wanted to feel pain and feel low and stuff for some reason. Yeah. But I think it was to dig deeper into myself and work out what are you made of, kind of thing. 100%. You know. And I think because I was living in London and everything was, you know, it's this, as we've discussed earlier, it's
given to you.
The urban, exactly, everything's controlled. Yeah. Order and law and everything is just, it's all, nothing is...
It defeats God. It defeats God for me, you know. It's like, you don't really need him. Like, you have everything you need.
Yeah.
So when you put yourself in that space is like the only thing you have is the divine and yourself.
Yeah.
And you have to look within. You have nothing else. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's the journey strips you away to your
No.
real
Yeah.
core of what
Yeah,
life is all
absolutely. I would love to go on one of these journeys.
Yeah, yeah, you
how
must.
do people even sign up?
about. It's just online. Just it says
Just
sign up.
email you.
Yeah, no, you literally click sign up, then you go little form, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, we had people. The last journey we had 16 people. A guy from Canada, 3 people from the Netherlands.
Wow.
People came up from London, a few from Scotland. It was all over.
Yeah.
And then they just come together and become this weird motley crew. And
I'd
you
love
get really close by the end of it.
actually
It's
love to
really
go.
cool. It always finished with a ceilidh at the end and a little party and a barbecue.
Amazing.
Really fun.
Definitely. May, you said?
May's the next one, and then we hopefully have got one in August from London to Norfolk along the Walsingham Camino.
Are they like usually 4 or 5 days?
Yeah. Either 3 days or kind of maybe a bit longer, a week sometimes 2
Amazing.
weeks. But 3 days or 5 days is a really good
Yeah.
amount of time, we've discovered.
I'm gonna go on one.
Yeah, you
I'm
must.
gonna go on one.
Yeah, 3 days is when they say that after 3 days is when you shed the kind of urban life and you suddenly step into some new
Right.
place. So
It takes
the
3
third
days.
day, yeah, that's what they say.
It's like fasting though, you know?
Right.
I don't know if you ever dry fasted before.
I've tried it.
I've tried
I haven't
it too.
lasted more than a day, but
I did 3 days one time.
Really?
Yes. And I felt something on the 4th day where I didn't need anything anymore. It was strange. It's the
Wow.
strangest feeling. Because, I don't know, I felt very close to the divine where I was like, I need power, I pray for power, and I get power.
wow.
It was the weirdest feeling.
Really?
Yeah,
But were you not
really.
exhausted? Like,
I was, but I was lying down like the whole time.
oh yeah, of course.
And I was walking to Morrison's with a stick. Like,
God.
really. So I had 1 day of water fast and a 3-day dry fast. Yeah, it was crazy. But I was like, I wanted to do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well done.
But thank you.
Jeez,
But
I wanna try that.
that's I guess 3 days is the correct.
Things change after 3 days. Yeah.
3 days. It
Seems
changes.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. You guys want to do some?
We'll just do some B-roll.
Yeah. And I'll.
So not really nice. Or at least good.
Look at this dog.
Cool. I'm just putting on a little jumper.
Yeah, no
and
worries.
then I'll back.
Yeah.
It's just here.